Hello! So today I've went with a soft smoky eye. In this video I've used the Morphe Ready Set Gold eyeshadow palette. If you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. I've done my brows off camera because we are not friends. They take me a lifetime to do. I'm starting with my face today. The reason I've done this is because I'm not worried about fallout with this look. For primer I'm using the Barry M Unicorn Drops, just patting that into my entire face. Primer is very important if you want your makeup to last all day. I like to speed up the drying process between each step by using a fan. For foundation I'm using my beloved Estee Lauder Double Wear in the shade Ivory Beige. I'm just mixing that in with some Beaujeu's Healthy Mix Foundation in the shade Light Vanilla. I'm just pressing that into the skin evenly until it's nice and smooth. Next I'm priming my eyes with the one and only P.Louise base in shade 2. I'm applying that with a flat brush and then patting it in with the same beauty sponge I used to do my foundation until it starts to set. To set my under eyes, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Fair Neutral and mixing that with the Benefit Cakeless Concealer in the shade 2. I'm just blending that in until it's smooth as it possibly can be. To set that, I'm dipping into the first two shades from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour palette and just patting that in. I like to go in with a fluffier brush and pat that into the whole face as well. To bake my under eyes and catch any possible fallout, I'm going in with some of the Too Faced Born This Way loose setting powder in the shade Translucent. Now for the eyes, going in with that Morphe Ready Set Gold eyeshadow palette. I'm just dipping into the shade Almond Kiss and applying that to my crease. I'm just going over that colour until I get the pigment I desire. I'm now dipping into the shade Classic to blend that first colour. And now going back in with that first shade just to bring that colour back out. To deepen the outer corner, I'm going in with the shade Disguise, applying that to my outer corner and then gradually bringing that into my crease. I'm going back in with those first two shades just to blend everything together seamlessly. So now I'm just patting the shade Almond Kiss all over my eyelid and then just blending all those colours in again. I wanted to add a little bit more depth, so I've dipped into the colour Agency and just applying that to my outer corner. And then back with those other colours again just to keep everything blended together nicely. I'm brushing that bake away so we can begin blending the shades on my under eyes. For my under eyes, I'm just going in with all those shades again, keeping it really close to the lash line. I'm then blending the colours from the top and bottom together so it looks seamless. I'm going back into the shade Agency on a flat detail brush. I'm just tightlining that onto my lower and upper lash line. And now just blending those colours in again just to keep everything nice and blended. For bronzer and contour, I'm going in with the Hula Light by Benefit. I'm just applying that to my forehead, keeping it as close to my hairline as possible and applying that bit by bit, just so it doesn't get too much. Contour. I like to align the top of my ear to the edge of my lips, only bringing that halfway down. Same as I did on my forehead, only apply little amounts at a time to avoid making a muddy mess. I like to bring my contour down to my jawline and blend it in, only a little bit, like what was left on the brush. And now to deepen that bronzer and contour, I'm going in with the original Hula Bronzer by Benefit, just applying that to the top of my contour and the edges of my bronzer, and then going back in with that fluffier brush to blend it all together. And now I'm going to sharpen that contour with a flat brush and some translucent powder, making sure to keep that directly under. I like to bring it right down to the edge of my lip, just to make it look really sharp. I'm also applying that to my chin, nose, forehead and under eyes to let that bake. This will keep the makeup in place all day and night. Once that's sat for a few minutes, I'm just wiping that all off, leaving out the contour bake. We'll let that sit until the end. For highlighter, I'm using the Ofra Glazed Donut in collaboration with Nikki Tutorials. I'm just highlighting my inner corners. And now to set my brows, I'm using the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I'm just curling my lashes to prep them for mascara. For blush, I'm using the Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette. I'm just dipping into that coral shade and then the pinky one underneath. I'm applying that just above my contour but slightly on top, in pattern motions, working from the bottom up. So now I'm going over that with a big fluffy brush that has absolutely nothing on it. I'm using that to buff everything in and diffuse any harsh lines. For my lashes, I'm using the Ico Waterproof Sport Mascara. So now I'm just brushing off that bake that I put under the contour. Some of that mascara got onto my eyelids, but not to worry. Once it has dried, you can easily remove it with this trick. Using any spoolie, just lightly scrape the mascara off, but remember you can only do this once it has fully dried. I'm now removing that foundation from my lips with some makeup remover. To prep my lips for lipstick, I'm applying some Project Lip Matte Plumping Lip Primer. The lip combo I'm using is MAC Morning Coffee Lip Pencil and MAC Honey Love Matte Lipstick. My favourite trick for sharp plump lips is using a flat brush and the same beauty sponge I used earlier. I'm just dipping my brush on there to get some product, then cleaning directly around my lipstick. I like to go back in with my pencil again just to bring some more depth back. Back into that same highlighter I used earlier, I'm highlighting my cupid's bow, high points of my cheeks, nose, chin and just above my brows. And now for that beautiful finish, I'm setting my face. That's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!